Good morning, and it's today's Artescape workshop, which we're doing for half term, and it's the third workshop today, which is working to create a food art sculpture. This is inspired by Claes Oldenburg and his giant soft sculptures, pop art sculptures of the 60s and 70s that he made. You'll see a PDF on the website, which you can download. There isn't any template. It's really up to you what kind of food art sculpture you want to make. I'm going to demonstrate today making a giant slice of pizza, which is mainly out of paper and newspaper and scraps. But you can certainly give you some ideas of other things you can make with bits of cardboard and things like that. So we're going to start our session in a moment. I'm going to show you what I have on the table today and get started. Okay, let's go. So you'll see on the table here, I've got a giant slice of pizza. This is cut from an A3 sheet of paper. You could do it with an A4 sheet of paper. It's absolutely fine. It'll just obviously be a little bit smaller. So I have, that's my sample here. So I have my paper, I have some paint, I have some scissors, I have a stapler, which is really useful. If you don't have a stapler, you could probably just glue it or even tape the sides together. A little brush for the paintbrush. And I've got some glue ready to glue down my pieces on top of my pizza. Okay, and I've also got some bits of newspaper here as well, which I'm going to scrunch up and put inside my sculpture. Okay, so I've got lots of newspaper here. So to get started, I am going to cut 2 sheets of paper. You will need 2 sheets, whatever size you've got, A3 or A4. And the other thing, if you had large red paper, you wouldn't have to paint it, but we're going to start with white paper. So I have got 2 sheets here, 2 sheets of paper. You can mark it out with a pencil, or I am just going to cut this because I'm used to doing this. I'm going to cut it from one corner like this. So I'm going to use the entire piece of paper and I'm going to cut right up to the other. I'm cutting both sheets at the same time. Okay, so you've got the 2 sheets of paper sandwiched together and I'm cutting it out at the same time. Going all the way up. Doesn't have to be a perfect triangle either. So I cut one section off, get rid of that bit. And I take my 2 sheets of paper and I'm going to cut it again like so. I'm going to cut up this side. So I end up with a pizza slice shape looking like this. Okay, right, so the next thing I'm going to do is staple or tape up the sides. So I'm going to take my stapler and I'm going to just staple up the sides like so along the edge. Don't go too far in because you won't have much space to stuff your pizza slice. So just going to go up the sides like this. Like so, right up to the point here. Turn it round. All the way down, quite a lot of staples. About a couple of inches apart. I'm going to leave this bit open, like so. Yeah, this is where I'm going to put my newspaper. So I've got my newspaper already scrunched up. I'm going to put it inside, like so. I'll fill my pizza slice. So it's like one of Claes Oldenburg's giant soft sculptures. Now, Claes Oldenburg created lots of large-scale public sculptures, as I say, in the 60s and 70s. He was very interested in looking at everyday objects in America, particularly quite theatrical. These were giant-sized pizzas, chips, giant slices of cake, giant burgers. Making them quite often out of fabric, in fact, the ones that were in the gallery. So I have filled my pizza slice up. Now, this one needs a little bit pushing down to get right down to the height of your pizza slice, like so. And I'm just going to press it down with my hands like this and then seal it up like so. And you get help with this, holding it together, staple, push the newspaper in, like so. There. So I've now got my soft paper pizza slice, like so. And just give it a little press down. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is, before I paint it, I'll just say what I've got prepared to put on my pizza. So you might want to do this whilst the paint is drying. That's quite a good idea. So I've cut up some bits of scrap yellow paper that I found, which is going to be my cheese. I've got some slices of salami. You could even, this kind of reddish coloured paper, brown wrapping paper. I could draw on that to make it look a little bit more like salami. And some olives, some little bits of black paper that I cut into little small pieces. So I've got my toppings ready. So I'm going to use some of my newspaper to put on the table so that I don't get the table dirty. Let's just spread this out. Okay, I'm going to paint my pizza slice with some red paint, like I sprayed my tomato. Oops. Okay, it's my paintbrush gone. Here we are. So just going to cover my pizza with lots of tomato like this. You don't have to cover the whole thing, but you want to give it some nice, lots of tomato sauce on the top. Now, if you've got anything else you want to sprinkle on, you might want to cut up some mushrooms or some pieces of ham, pineapple, whatever it is. You might even have some little bits and bobs you could use for herbs. You can go as far as you like with the detail on your pizza. But if you just like cheese and tomato, then go ahead and do cheese and tomato. You could also, so you could cover the whole thing in red paint, or you could just cover it to the edges and then choose a sort of brown to create the dough part of it. I'm just doing this very quickly, covering it in my nice tomato sauce, like so. Don't have to be too careful about this in terms of colouring. It's nice and splodgy. There we go, tomato sauce all over my lovely pizza slice. Okay, there we are. Great, so now I have a nice shiny red piece of pizza. Make that away. And now I'm going to put my pizza slices on. Now I can use, I'm going to use some glue here. I've got this fantastic glue called Mod Podge, which I highly recommend. This is the glue that I'm using. Very good for collaging and sealing things. So that's that Mod Podge. Right, so I'm going to put a little bit of Mod Podge. Whilst the paint is wet, though, this will actually mean your thing sticks. So I'm just going to put some blobs of glue randomly around, and then I'm going to, this dries clear as well, so even if you don't end up covering it. So I'm just going to cover my pizza slice, lots of bits of glue all around the edge as well, so it makes a lot of cheese. So there we go, that's the glue. So now I'm going to put a few olives on my pizza slice. Here, here, here. Okay, I like olives, so I'm going to put quite a few on. There we are, some olives. And I'm going to put some cheese, like so. Scatter that around the edge. A little cheesy crust. Here we go. Brilliant. Right. Okay, that one's gone flying over there. That's fine. Now, if you like salami, I'm going to put a little bit of salami on there, or chorizo, or any ham, whatever you like. I'll just put a little bit more glue on here. I like lots of topping on my pizza. Okay, so here we go. Some slices of ham or salami or whatever you want this to represent. I might even just cut a few pieces in half just to spread them around a little bit. I'm just going to cut this in half. Great. Okay, so this is basically your pizza slice. Okay, so there's lots of glue on that one, but as I say, it will dry. Now with the one that I made earlier, I am going to show you, I'll just, you can go back once it's dry, you can add a bit of detail. As I say, you can add some other things like mushrooms and various things like that. I'm just going to show you a quick image of some of Klaus Oldenburg's work. So there we can see a giant hamburger inside the gallery here. We've got a giant ice cream cone, huge big slice of cake, apple core, some chips, and ketchup on a plate. And these are about sort of 10 foot wide and made out of fabric and latex. So as I say, he was very interested in everyday objects and making them very theatrical. So another thing you could be making today is an ice cream cone. This is one I made before. So this has got, this is actually made with a cone like this, a textile cone, looks like this. But if you don't have those available to you, you could use a piece of paper. I found a piece of paper here that's sort of like a cone coloured. I just happen to have this lying around, but you may not. So I'm just going to fold it up like so. I'm going to roll it up and roll it into a cone shape like this. And I'm going to staple it into place. So if you don't have a cone, you can use this. I'm going to just trim this cone shape that I've cut so that I can. So I'm going to take the scissors and trim it down like so. Oops, you can't see. Here we are. Okay, so I've got my cone here. Just going to staple it a little bit more. That bit I could glue at the end. So here I have my cone. Let's put that back. So I've got my cone. I'm just going to move this so you can see a little bit clearer. So we have a cone I've rolled out of paper here. That's the cone there, and there's another cone here like so. I've got made out of brown card paper. So I've also happened to have a little bit of scrap paper that was used for a piece of packaging that I had, and it's like pale pink. So I'm going to pretend that's my ice cream. I'm basically going to scrunch it up into a ball like so. But this one has been painted with pink paint. So I just used a bit of newspaper and glued it inside. So that one fits inside like that. In fact, what I'm going to do is put some other paper inside here to fill it. You might need several pieces bunched up to put inside my cone. There we go. And then the ice cream goes on top like so. And you might want to have a little bit of glue. Also glue gun when you're making sculptures out of recycled materials. Glue gun is a much stronger type of glue to seal things together. So that's what I would normally use in this circumstance to make sure things really stick together. So there's the beginning of the cone, the ice cream going in, and then this part, the flake, I made out of some paper straws that I painted brown and stuck onto the side, and then other little pieces of paper to decorate the ice cream with. So again, it's entirely up to you what kind of food art you make. We've got lots and lots of examples on the PDF, making a taco shell out of a piece of cardboard and filling it with lettuce and tomato and cheese and whatever else. So there's a very basic shape for a taco shell. Lots and lots of brilliant ideas. I'd love to see some of the things you made. And I'm going to say goodbye for today and thanks for joining us again. Okay. So bye from me, and I'll see you again tomorrow for another workshop about ball clay and making a bookmark or a poster. Okay, thanks very much. Bye for now.